gonna press it and record because guess what? I'm still gonna edit it. So,
Yeah.
Tim, this is it. We have started.
Yeah.
So, hello everyone. Wow. I don't know how to do this. This is brand new. So it's been 7 weeks since I first said I started this, and I somehow roped in a buddy of mine. So for those first listening, and everyone, my name's Willem.
I'm Tim.
And this is our podcast, Hear Me Out Pitch. Fun punny word if you guys. But yeah, hopefully this will get something new. But today, we're going to get right into it. Or maybe we should introduce ourselves more. Talk about ourselves a little bit. I think that'll be a good idea.
Sure.
All right. So, hi everyone. I'm Willem. From Utah, the nerd state of America. And you can't convince me otherwise. It's pretty nerdy here. But been here my whole life. Haven't lived anywhere else. And love movies, love cartoons. Hope to be voice actor someday. But that's another dream down the road. Don't have to worry about that. But have a desire to just really help build movies one day, or at least help shows. And yeah, I just wanted to start this podcast because lately I've been pretty darn sick of how some shows have been writing. So whoa, sorry. Oh, Tim, you're allowed to laugh if I make a funny joke.
I laughed.
Anyway, but short and sweet of it is I love movies, love cartoons, and one of the things that inspired me to start this podcast. So hopefully that's enough about me. And honestly, if we keep making the show, you'll learn more later on. So don't worry about it. So I'll turn it over to my buddy.
Hello, I am Tim. I also am from Utah. Unlike Willem, I have lived in other states and even other countries.
Oh, I guess I did move. Okay, I lived in Africa for 2 years.
I lived in Mexico, I lived in Chile, I lived in Norway. Norway was because of my mom. She's from Norway. She was born and raised there.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. What?
So I'm half Norwegian.
Oh my gosh. Can you speak anything?
I could say a couple words.
Like what?
Like tak means thanks.
Oh, wow. That was a little underwhelming, but that's crazy. Sorry, you keep going. That was
You're
cool.
Good. Like Willem, yes, I'm a nerd. I agree. Utah is probably the nerdiest state out there. I mean, we got Brandon Sanderson. He's a Utah native. Like,
we
the
have
nerdiest
so many.
of the nerds.
Isn't Orson Scott Card also from? Yeah. Like some of the biggest names and like some of the biggest authors live here, from here.
Brandon Mull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got Post Malone. He's a nerd. He moved here.
Yeah.
I say he's a nerd. Have you some of his tattoos are pretty nerdy.
Touche.
Okay, that's right. Sit down.
All right. Some of his tattoos, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, that's me.
But yeah, so we just want to talk about movies that kind of let us down, or just or movies that we enjoyed, but just we think have some tweaking. Because again, just some movies nowadays, we've just been like, ugh. And again, we're going to do our best, and we do not want to make anything political on this show. This is just strictly about the stories and characters and how they're done. We're not going to shove down anything of well, they were meant to be a male and blah, blah. No, we're not planning to do that. We strictly want to point out things about what the story is implying, and I'm yammering because I'm terrible at this. So
I think a few issues that a lot of shows have too are just issues with continuity. Like they don't follow the same guidelines the whole way through. Sometimes a character will say something, and then later you find out something that completely debunks that. I found a couple issues with that in
the movie we're going to talk about
today.
So really quick, before we go into the movie that we're going to talk about, I just want to hear a few movie examples that you absolutely love and that to you were I learned something and I had something taught to me, or something that you just this movie sticks with me. Anything you want.
I think to start, my all-time favorite movie ever is Up. It is the most adorable movie, but it's also like there's adventure there. I mean, adventure is out there. It's a fun movie, and I'm 22 years old and I still love it. I grew up loving that movie and I still love it now. It's still my favorite movie.
22. So, okay, how old were you when that came out?
When did it come out?
2007. So I would have
been 6.
You would have been 6? Oh, man. I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, we gotta look it up.
Is it 7? It's not 2000.
Oh, so hold up. We're gonna do some little, y'all gonna...
It is...
Who's gonna win?
2009.
2009. Okay, I was 14. So if
8.
y'all can do math, I'm 27, turning 28 soon, and Tim is just a baby.
22, fresh out of high school.
No.
And a couple other things. And a little after that, you know.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Probably should mention, no, I'm scared we'll go off too many tangents, but basically, me and Tim met through...
volleyball.
Volleyball.
We were playing volleyball with some friends.
Volleyball with some friends, and he ended up becoming neighbors, and it's just crazy. It's awesome. So, oh no, what happened to my Disney player? Oh no, we're good. Well, now that the movie's Disney. So, okay, but Up. Random thing about that really quick. I don't care if we're doing bickering. If people hate it, then they can leave it in the comments, because that means they actually have to listen to it. So I don't care. So someone said about Up that the beginning is one of the best part of the whole movie. The rest of it is just plain, and we've seen it before. That's what someone said. So what are your thoughts on that?
I will fight whoever said that.
I'll have to find the video.
The beginning of the movie is beautiful. It feels like, honestly, where Carl and Ellie are in love, falling in love, and then that's their life, right? It feels like one of the Disney shorts, one of the ones that you have before a movie or right after a movie, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what that feels like. And then we get more. Like, we get more of Carl, more of Mr. Fredricksen.
I mean, you can't just end with his wife dying. We need to know what happened after.
No, and the whole movie, like, that first bit, the first several minutes where we get to see their life, you go through the rest of the story is you are going through and you are seeing that come full circle. You watch Carl get super mega depressed and old and cranky, and
very old and cranky.
And then you watch as this little boy comes along and he changes his whole worldview, and he gives Carl a new vision for life, right? When Ellie died, Carl was kind of like, meh, life is over.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna live out the rest of my days the way I would have. And then along comes this chubby little Asian kid who is very loud, very obnoxious, hilariously naive.
Do you dig the hole before or after? Oh, it's before. You said it's not after.
It's not after.
It's not after, no. Tim. Do not.
After.
I learned that lesson the hard way. Dig the hole before.
Also learned that the hard way.
That'll be a story for another time.
That comes. That is part of my road to becoming an Eagle Scout. That's
same here. Actually, no. My story is way more embarrassing.
Well, that's part of the road. That's
I guess, but mine was not even related to Scouts in any way. But it's fine.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That will be a story for another time.
Yep.
You all can just request it. So that means we have to get people to listen. So, but yeah, Up, great movie.
Yeah.
Oh my
Fantastic movie. I've got to say, OG Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. It's beautiful for what technology they had back then. It is perfection. The story is perfect. maybe not perfect, but it's as perfect as they could get it.
Back in 78? Late 70s.
Late 70s.
Back in the 70s.
Back in the 70s.
Back in the 70s. We'll be safe here. Back in the 70s, my dad was like younger than 10, and he says like that movie was just insane. He remembers waiting in the theater for Return of the Jedi. Like he remembers waiting in line. And you know, for all of us who have gone to see like Endgame, Infinity War, like we can't even comprehend what it would have been like, you know, 40 some years ago when they were waiting for movies.
In line.
You didn't even get movies out on like VHS and stuff. My parents said you had to go and keep repeating going to see movies. You couldn't just buy it later on. You couldn't get oh my gosh. Like,
yeah.
Oh, you're so like right now we have it pulled up on my laptop, the movie we're going to review and just talk about. Like, I couldn't imagine doing that 15 years ago. Hell, even 10 years ago. I guess I should probably say one of mine real quick. One of my favorite movies of all time is, I'm going to say just right off the bat, the Tom Hardy movie Warrior, about the UFC fighters. Just everyone should watch that movie. Watch it once if you have to. The struggle of brothers and an estranged father overcoming adversity, the idea of who's going to get the win, cry every time I watch it. I can go off on so many movies, but for me, a good movie has to make me feel all the emotions. I need to laugh, I need to cry, I need to want to scream, and I want to be completely surprised. So a recent movie for me that was like that, and then we'll get into our show, but Across the Spider-Verse. For me, absolute phenomenal movie.
Agreed.
I just so happy. Same with Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Both of those two recent movies, because we're going to talk about a lot of Marvel movies recently, folks. These past 3 years have not been kind to Marvel, and fight me on that. But today we are not going to be talking about a Marvel movie.
We are talking about a Disney movie, though.
We are.
Marvel is owned by Disney.
And
that's the segue.
That is the segue. That's a great segue. Tim, you've done it again. You're genius. But today we are going to be talking about the Pixar movie Lightyear that came out 2022?
Something like that.
Yeah, so first off, Tim, I had Tim watch it because I'm leading the episode today, and I wanted Tim to watch it. So Tim, how do you feel about the movie? How did you feel about it?
I thought it was good. I had some issues.
Mm-hmm.
I had a few issues, but overall, as a story and as a movie, I thought it was fun. It was decent. Like watching it with my wife, we had an interruption during the movie, so I think I missed a bit during that interruption, but it was good. There were a few continuity things that bothered me that probably could be explained away, but the obvious answer is that they just rushed it. I don't know. But the character development was fun. I really enjoyed seeing Buzz and his kind of transformation from being what he was at the beginning, you know, the solo artist, mission comes first, where you have to complete the mission, to I have a new mission. My mission is helping those around me and living life instead of living the mission, which comes before life. I don't know. It reminds me of I believe it is the first oath made by Radiance in the Stormlight Archive, Life Before Death, right?
Yeah, Life Before Death.
And I think Buzz was on the tangent of, or not on the tangent, but on the road of the mission comes before life. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, 100%.
He would not have made a good Radiant.
No,
I'm just saying.
For anyone that doesn't know, Brandon Sanderson book, The Knights Radiant, story. Oh my gosh.
Stormlight Archive.
Look up Brandon Sanderson.
The first book is The Way of Kings. Fantastic series. They are hefty books.
Hefty.
but
Thick.
very good books. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about.
That is not what we're talking about.
But yeah, I think Buzz, that transformation from going from we have to complete the mission to I have friends now, they come first. I think that was really fun to see. I do feel like there were a lot of parts that were pretty cliche.
Oh, yeah.
Granted, I think they may have done that on purpose, in part. I don't know. Because here's the thing. The movie is supposed to be set in 1995.
Yeah.
Right? It's the movie that Andy watches. This is confirmed. It says it at the beginning of the movie. This is the movie that Andy watched that got him so excited about Buzz Lightyear.
Yes, that is... Oh.
Okay, so a lot of the issues that I feel like Willem and I have deal with that. The fact that it was a movie in 1995 and they're doing things in the movie that won't ever come around until just 5 years ago, you know.
Yeah, like it's
late, like 2020 or within 5 years. The other thing, and I need to hit this nail on the head. It doesn't bother me anymore. It used to because it was new. But
oh, I know what you're talking
right
about.
right now, every other movie you watch has a homosexual couple, and it's not bad. I don't care. It doesn't bother me.
So 90s compared to 2000s, the 2020s, way less inclusive.
I'm gonna give you guys some facts. Okay, the first ever gay kiss in a Pixar movie was this movie, Lightyear, 2022.
2022.
This was the first gay kiss
In an animated
Pixar movie. Okay, the first gay kiss in a Disney movie, since Pixar is owned by Disney, was in 2017 in an episode of Star versus the Forces of Evil. I never watched it. I know the scene.
I do not.
And there was a 2-part episode in Steven Universe. I believe that's also in 2017. It might have been a couple years earlier. But it's the episode where Ruby and Sapphire get married.
That's a cute episode. I like that show.
That is a beautiful show.
I love it
so
much.
I'm not against... I have to say this outright. I am not against these things appearing in media. I am against people changing what old media was to what it should be now.
Because let's be honest, 95, that in a kids movie, that would not have happened. 2022 definitely would have happened.
Oh yeah.
Because that's the, if you're gonna, it's gonna just go back to the continuity thing. It's just the same. So that's why, like, this, again, the movie just felt so out of place. It just didn't feel like it was 2022's because trying to be 90s, but didn't feel 90s because it was just too much. Yeah, that's exactly a lot of the things you've talked about. Is that I just wanted to get your opinion on it, and I don't want to go too far into it because today on this show we want to talk more about our own little twists, because the show is Hear Me Out Pitch, not Hear Me Out Review. So we want to try to give our own spin of how we would have done things. And I'm very glad you brought up the very first line of the movie. So at the very beginning of the movie, it straight up says, let's get to that. It says, yep, right there. It says, in 1995, a boy named Andy got a Buzz Lightyear toy for his birthday. And then it keeps going, and then it says it was from his favorite movie.
This is that movie.
This is that. No, absolutely not. It is not that movie.
No, it's not.
Call the council. I hate it. Right off the bat, I went, what? Like, I was in the theater. I went and saw it with my buddy and his son. And me and his son each got one poster. I got it for his birthday. We each got a poster, and Andy's sitting there with all the other toys watching the Buzz Lightyear movie, and I'm like, that's dumb, because first off, the toys would have remembered if they saw that movie. Second off, just no.
I watched the first Toy Story yesterday, last night with my wife, and that was something that I noticed, is that the whole point of the first Toy Story movie is that Woody was jealous about Buzz showing up, and that means that I don't know, all of the other toys, they didn't know what was coming. They didn't know what a Buzz Lightyear was until Buzz was like, I'm Buzz Lightyear to infinity and beyond,
It's
blah,
just,
blah, blah.
It's absolutely, it just drives me insane. Just that first line, I went, what? So, straight off the bat, if I had done this movie, that line's getting scrapped, and I will save that's gone.
Agreed.
Because the thing is, this movie is straight up what it should be, and that's just a little play of, oh, this is Buzz Lightyear's story. Now, do I want to say now, or do I want to save it to the end? I'm going to save it to the end of what I would have done differently at the end of the movie. Because keep in mind, again, this movie is... That's the trouble with continuity. Thank you. This is why we have Tim, folks. It's the real reason. I can't talk properly, so it's fine. I know we should probably say spoilers right off the bat, right? Probably should say that. So if you haven't seen Buzz Lightyear, pause the podcast right now.
Go watch it.
And go watch it and come back. If you don't care, fine. I don't care. Just come back, please. Just come back. Okay, so you guys are back. Cool beans. Are those notes?
These are notes.
Oh my gosh, you did notes.
You told me to take notes.
You're right, I did. You're right.
Told me to take notes.
You did better than I did.
My wife gave me a lot of these notes, actually. She was like, hey, here's something I thought about. So I have notes.
Good. So when I get to certain parts of the movie and talk about it, or please just try to be like, hey, I want to say something, please do so. So again, folks, it's the first episode. We're still working out the kinks. It's probably going to be 30 minutes of us talking about the movie and 50 minutes of us goofing around. I'm going to probably jump around a bit. Yeah, we're just going to go to the beginning. So in the beginning of Lightyear, we start off on a planet, and Buzz and, oh my goodness, I can't think of her name right now. And Alicia, you got something to say?
I actually... One of the things that I noticed rewatching Toy Story last night was one of the lines that Buzz says in the very beginning, right? He's doing his mission log. Yeah. Right? And he jumps out and he's kind of bouncing on the ground, and he in both movies, in Toy Story and in Lightyear, he says something to the effect, I can't quote it, but something to the effect of, the terrain here seems a bit unstable. In both movies, this one, obviously the ground seems unstable. Yeah. Obviously in Toy Story, it's the bed and he's bouncing on a mattress.
But again, this is why I can't stand that this movie is what Andy saw. No, this is what this is our adaptation of the movie that he saw. And so that first line just takes away this magic, because it's like, oh, you're telling me that Buzz, talks, because Andy's not going to play with the Buzz Lightyear toy and it's going to, the terrain seems unstable. Maybe it did, but really there's just
I feel like
that C word. I can't say not the C word.
Continuity.
Thank you. I'm gonna just point at you whenever I can't say it.
I think instead of this being the movie that Andy watched in 1995, this should be the movie that Andy himself is helping to direct. Or in some way. I can't recall. I haven't seen the fourth Toy Story, so I don't know if Andy is even in that one. But in the third Toy Story, he goes to college, right? Oh my god! I can't remember if he even goes to college. He could have been the director.
That's even better than what I thought. Oh my gosh! Bingo. So I think you'll kind of like mine. Oh man, okay, so I'm just gonna say we're gonna skip to the end now. So I wanted to do we're gonna, again, folks, this show's gonna be sporadic. So now that you've said that, which I think is awesome, because my idea was, that, the movie ends, it goes to black, maybe roll a few credits like they do in the Marvel movies, and it shows the cast, and it says, Disney Pixar proudly presents Lightyear. And then we see a movie theater, and we see, from there, we see two people walk out. We follow them walking out of the theater from the back, and we see the back, and this little boy is wearing a red cowboy hat. And he says, Dad, that movie was amazing. Did you love it? And the man looks down and says, yeah, I really did. And it made me miss my Buzz Lightyear toy. Andy took his son to see this movie. Because that is who went to see this movie. I took my friend and his son to see this movie. You know why? Because we loved Buzz Lightyear.
Did you have a Buzz Lightyear toy growing up?
I still have him. Mine is a Transformer one. He transforms into a ship.
Mine broke. The arm broke off. The same arm that broke off in the first Toy Story movie. And then the wings broke. And then the helmet cracked.
Actually, no, I had two Buzz Lightyear toys.
Did you have the blue one?
No, mine was just the typical one, but I drowned him in a Home Depot bucket. Because I wanted it, because he sounded funny underwater. And he died. So yeah, I killed Buzz Lightyear, but I still have my Transformer one. He transforms into a spaceship. Pretty awesome.
I know what you're talking about too.
I
had one. I had one
gray?
of those.
Like he's gray? And his hand would like fold into the... No!
Yeah, folded in the little cannon thing, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I had one of those.
That's weird. That's crazy.
I don't know where it went, but...
Okay,
yeah,
so...
I had that one, and then I had two others. I had the green one, right, where the wings flipped out. And then I had the blue one. And the blue one, I don't know if you even... If you know what it was, but the blue one didn't have the wings. The blue one was...
Oh, I think I do know what you're talking about. I had a few friends who had it. So, I went across the room, folks, and I got this blanket when I turned 6. So, July of 2001. Were you alive, Tim?
Okay. I was 4 months old.
Dang! So,
5 months.
This blanket is a Toy Story blanket, and it has Buzz Lightyear and Woody on it. Yeah, I like Toy Story. Girl, I still have this blanket. I don't sleep with it anymore. It's just for when, like, if my friends bring him and their kids over, their kids can lay it out and they play on it. It's cute. So yeah, we like Toy Story, like the toys. So Tim just talked about how noticed that about the toy, and then because anyway, so we're back at the beginning of the movie. So, what is her name? Alicia. What's her last name?
Oh, shoot. It's...
Probably should figure that out.
Starts with an H.
Hawthorne. So,
that's right.
Buzz is with Commander Hawthorne and, goes to the planet, and they're going out, setting the terrain, and they have just come off of a, light speed travel. I hope I'm saying that right. And they're out of light speed. They're checking the terrain. Buzz says the line. And then he goes about. And oh my gosh, the planet is definitely not inhabitable. They go. And they try to get back to the ship. They have a rookie. And I will be honest, the rookie thing kind of bugged me. But it was also a play. It was a play on like the animated movie. Because he never liked rookies. And I get that. And I wouldn't mind keeping some of that, but we didn't grow. I guess we did grow on a lot of it with the cadets from the future.
Yeah. I think I have something else about that I thought was interesting. I was going through after the movie. I was doing a little bit of homework and looking at like what other people had to say about the movie.
Okay.
And something that Screen Rant said that kind of caught my eye was that maybe the reason that Buzz is so intent on finishing the mission now is that he feels that it's his fault that the rookie died. We don't see that the rookie dies.
I thought he got him.
No, he did.
Oh, okay.
But then the spaceship falls and crashes. Remember?
Oh.
Right?
Wow.
And so something that Screen Rant brought up was that maybe the rookie didn't make it, and that's why Buzz is so hesitant later on with Izzy and the other two to take them in and to let them help him. Maybe that's why he is, I can do this.
I can do it. And technically, Tim, it's 3 rookies, not 2.
Well, Izzy and the other 2.
Oh, I thought you said, okay, sorry.
Izzy and the other 2.
Sorry, I'm stupid. I don't hear properly.
The Australian dude and the old lady. I don't remember their names.
I'm pretty sure that's New Zealand because I think it's
Is it
Takeo Watiti. I can never say his name right. The director of Love and Thunder, which we're definitely gonna talk about that.
We'll hit that one later.
I call that one.
Go for it. But yeah, that's something that it was interesting. And if you remember, Buzz and Alicia are talking, and Buzz court-martials himself because he failed. Right? And he rips off the sticker. He's like, "No, I can't do this. I'm court-martialing myself." And then she talks him out of it. I don't think... Here's why I disagree with Screen Rant. I don't think the rookie died. Because if he had, that would have been a heavier burden for Buzz to bear, and Alicia would not have been able to pull him out by just saying, "You can do it."
Yeah, like it's ugh. Yeah,
but
that would have been good. That would have been a good thing.
Interesting theory.
Or like hospitalize at least. Cause it's a Disney movie, Tim. You gotta hospitalize would have been.
It is a Disney movie.
Yeah.
People die in Disney movies.
Well, fine. Don't bring up Tadashi. Not Tadashi.
Well, and actually, speaking of people dying in Disney movies, that wouldn't even be the first death in the Toy Story quote unquote universe either, because Andy's dad died before the first Toy Story movie.
Where does it say that their dad died? I thought his dad left him. Are you telling me Andy's just another Hogarth Hughes?
I guess.
Jeez.
No, so I actually... More homework.
Tim went above and beyond, folks. I just wanted a few little notes, but I guess Tim should be...
Yeah.
Okay.
I found this one on Reddit.
Okay.
And it's by Haunted Planter 26. Interesting name. I think it's cool. But the whole premise of this is, why does Andy have such a big attachment to Buzz Lightyear? Right? What draws that attachment? Because I'll just read what Haunted Planter said. We see this in the third movie when Andy is upset at the thought of losing his toys, especially Woody. It was confirmed by the writers that Andy lost his dad when he was really little. Which does explain why he was so attached to Woody, since Woody was the first toy given to Andy by his father. So what significance does Buzz have to Andy, and what does Buzz truly represent to him? What was it that actually made Andy want to have the toy? That's kind of where this is going, right?
Okay, now that my ending with Andy taking his son...
It hits a little bit harder. It hits a
little bit different. Like, I would have, okay, so, and if they would have known, because again, these people all work for Pixar, they should know this. How monumental would it have been for Andy to have taken his own son to see a movie about a character he loved because he loved his dad? Yeah,
that would have been big.
Like, I was expecting it. I was expecting that throughout the whole one, throughout all the trailers. I was like, oh, this is going to be the movie Andy saw. But then they announced, oh, it's the movie Andy saw before. And I was like, okay, then maybe we'll get a credit scene. And okay, so now that you've said this father and son thing, I want you to keep that in your mind, because...
Okay. I got to finish this thought.
Okay, yeah, no, thank you. Finish the thought.
So the whole significance to Andy about Buzz Lightyear, like the whole reason that Andy found him so interesting, is if this really is the movie that Andy did see in 1995, which we both disagree that this was, because it wasn't. I'm sorry, Pixar, but you failed on this one.
You did.
And there's other things that prove our point that we'll get to later. But I think before words.
This is my problem, not yours.
If this really was the movie that Andy saw as a kid, then Andy had to try to find something about Buzz that he saw in himself. Mm-hmm. That is how little kids think,
associate,
right?
Yeah.
That's how they associate cool movie, awesome toy. Why is it important to me? Because obviously, like, it's with Star Wars, for example. I loved Star Wars growing up. I had the little Lego Anakin Skywalker, right? And he was when I played with Legos, he was my main character that I would play with. And it was because I related to Anakin in that I was hurting. I was in pain, right? Because my mom had left my family. She and I are cool now. She's awesome. Love her.
But we're going to talk about Tim's trauma now.
During the time that I was hurting, I related to Anakin because he was hurting, right? Oh. That's why. And so this with Buzz and Andy, Buzz Lightyear is the movie, and I'm quoting again, is the movie in Buzz Lightyear in the movie is troubled and going through immersion going through emotional turmoil, thinking a problem is all his fault, and he wants to make things right by blasting off constantly by himself on a mission to save everyone. Wow, just like a little boy who may feel lost and going through grief from his father.
Okay, you are almost making me want to root for this movie. And again, I will say, I never said I did not mind this movie, but just these few things made me go,
I don't think this is the movie that Andy saw.
That is my argument. I tell people whenever they watch this movie, ignore that first sentence and pretend Andy went and took his son to see it.
Yes.
And it makes the movie a little better.
This could 100% be in the Pixar universe. This could 100% be a movie that Andy saw. It's not the movie he saw in 1995.
No.
It's not the first movie.
Oh.
The other big thing that I feel like proves that, aside from the one big thing that you and I talked about earlier, I think is the time travel Zurg Buzz garbage.
Okay, I'm glad you're okay.
That's a fun take on it, but that's another thing that makes me not. Okay, so let's
kind of rewind. So, spoilers: Zurg is in this movie. And crazy thing about this. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think let's put that on pause.
Okay, we'll pause that for a second.
So let's try. I'm going to try to just keep going, and you bring the notes on. Let's just try to get back on the thing. So let's just rewind back to the beginning of the movie. I want you to take the character of Buzz, the one that crash lands, the idea that the mission comes first. So think of that Buzz. So we have two Buzzes, okay? We have two Buzzes, and ironically enough, there are two Buzzes in this movie at one point. So I want you to take the Buzz that the mission comes first. Think of that Buzz, and I want you to do something, and this will change the movie. And also, everything that you've said to us about Andy's dad, now that's going to become 10 times more powerful, especially if this version, my pitch, would be the movie Andy saw. Make that Buzz, the Buzz who the mission comes first, make that his dad. And at the beginning of the movie, his father is the one that crashes the ship. His father is the one that time travels. His father is the one that disappears. And then evil Emperor Zurg is trying to take over their community, and it's up to Buzz to stop him. How much better would that have been when we realize, Dad? That would have made the movie way better. Keep the dad thing.
That's the point that's what I was going to say, actually. Because in the second Toy Story, there's the whole scene where Buzz is playing
with
catch
his
freaking dad, who is Zurg.
Go long, buddy. You're a great dad. Yippee! Like, it's, again, they shouldn't have been like, and the only thing they did in this movie that even hinted at that was spoilers, Zurg opens up and you see an older looking Buzz dude and he goes, Dad? Oh, that would be funny, wouldn't it? And then you're just like, no,
That should have been how
it should have been his dad.
Here's the thing. In 1995, a movie like this totally would have played off the Star Wars thing, where it would have been his dad.
It would have been his dad because it was
was a big thing. That is, Star Wars set that in stone.
Yeah. The 80s had just finished. Star Wars was still pretty big, and people were upset because, again, people had to repeatedly go to the theaters to see it. So, yeah, 95, Evil Emperor Zurg, Buzz Lightyear is supposed to be based off of Star Wars. Yeah. Because he's getting the plans to the Death Star. If you read the package that he comes in, he's getting the plans to the Death Star, basically. It's
basically
sworn enemy of the Galactic Alliance. That's Emperor Zurg. Who is Emperor Zurg? Why does he hate why does he hate the Galactic Empire? I'll tell you why, but we'll get more into that. But yeah, so his dad is the one that crashes. His dad is the one that does that, and then his dad is the one that's testing it. So we're seeing this from, and how I would have done it is, you know, we hear Lightyear, we hear all these things, and we go, oh, it's Buzz Lightyear because he looks just like him. Okay, we'll keep that. And when he's sitting there, it's like, Lightyear, you need, and she keeps calling him Lightyear because they're being formal. And let's be honest, if this was in the 90s, I don't know if they would have had a woman commander. But let's just say the commander itself, let's just say the commander is calling Buzz Lightyear the whole time, regardless of gender. We'll just say this is supposed to be my pitch of the movie. I don't care. I'm just going to say characters on this show. You can describe whoever you want, but there are some characters who I will be specific about of who I want them to be, what gender, whatever. So the commander, you can imagine them however you want, whatever you want them to be. The commander keeps saying Lightyear. And the whole part of the movie, you know, Lightyear, they're going about the terrain, maybe throwing the few jokes of the ground seems a little bit unstable. All these things are happening. Possibly throwing the rookie thing, because that's for later, but really, we don't need that with his dad.
No.
But they're going through the whole thing. They keep saying Lightyear, Lightyear, Lightyear. And finally, he's trying to rescue them in the onion. He's pulling up. He's like, Lightyear, you need help. I'm Zap Lightyear. I'm always sure. Name, Zap. Why do I pick Zap? Well, Buzz, Zap, works. It's cute.
It's funny.
But also,
it's
Calvin
clever.
and Hobbes.
Yeah.
Spaceman Spiff, and he always said Zap, So for me, I just love the word Zap. So I feel like Zap Lightyear would be perfect. And again, the big ass Z, sorry, I said a bad word, becomes Zurg. It would have been perfect for it. Mm-hmm. And it would have made more sense. Like, how come the robots don't understand you? I mean, how come the robots call you that? They can't say Zap, so they just say Zurg. So, but darn it. I'm going off on way too many tangents.
Or it could have been, his name was Zurg.
Absolutely.
That totally could have worked. Zurg Lightyear. I don't know. It kind of
the
fits.
only reason why I didn't want that is because I want it to be a big twist. So what I want to happen is that we have the antagonist Zurg, and then we see his dad. And for us in the theaters, for us who grew up with Lightyear, we already know. But imagine taking a little kid who doesn't really know Zurg very well.
Yeah.
And so imagine it's supposed to be a big spin-off, because I think that would have been a better, you know, if we already expect his dad to be Zurg, that would have been better than us seeing Zurg and then it being him. You know, I felt like I wouldn't care if I already know it's his dad, but it would have been epic for us to be like, oh, because, so, let's rewind back. So, beginning of the movie, they crash land. Buzz gets woken up along with everyone else, and we're kind of watching it through his view. And for those of you who've watched it, if you remember, every time they test for light speed, they move back 4 years. So we see all those attempts still.
The first time is 4 years.
Oh, the first time is 4 years.
Every other time, the faster he goes,
does it get bigger?
The more the time jumps.
Oh, that's even worse.
Right?
Oh.
So if you remember, when the new commander is telling him no, and he jumps anyway, he steals the ship,
and he gets the perfect score.
He hits hyperspeed.
Uh-huh.
When he comes back, the guy is an old man now.
Yeah.
He's got gray hairs
It's been
now.
15 years, right? Something like that.
Something like that. 22 years. It was 22 years.
Dang.
Because Buzz is talking to Izzy and says, it must have been 22 years that I was gone.
I don't know. Someone's gonna. We could probably go and
someone
find
will
it.
probably
Someone
correct
will
us.
correct it over on. So, crap. What was I thinking about? Oh, okay. So
Time jump.
time jump. So the time jumps, I want them to still be there. Again, I'm just kind of throwing out things I would change. Time jumps, I thought that was really cool.
Well, and the time jumps thing, like, people were playing with that. Back to the Future, for example.
Yeah.
Time travel was a big thing. Doctor Who, that was big. Playing with time travel
Like this?
is
No.
different, and it's fun.
It would not have been in the 90s.
It would not have happened in the 90s.
Definitely agree with that. Like, it just felt too, especially after watching, like, Endgame. Like, it's just, like, too much, like, this is a little bit. It's just too
Like,
much.
That's like an old Marty McFly coming back in time in the DeLorean and trying to kidnap younger Marty McFly to save Doc.
Yeah.
I don't know. And they never did that. I don't know. I don't think it would have worked.
No.
The way they did those 3 movies was perfect.
I love those movies. I was watching. Anyway, too many times. So, but.
Oh, here. It's been...
Oh,
we're at the part. 4 years, 2 months, and however many days.
Yeah, that's the first
That's
leap.
the first
You're
jump.
so you're saying that every time they get so
Every time he gets faster, more time passes.
and that makes sense. So I never connected that.
That's
They were
why,
just showing that.
That's why in every single shot later,
Oh,
Alicia gets older exponentially.
like because some of the scenes it like shows her son is like a grown man. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Well, then I'm gonna steal that and I'm gonna keep that in my plot. So back to that. So basically, I want to show Buzz's perception of it.
Yes.
So we're gonna get sorry by young Buzz. So again, this is Willem's pitch on it.
Maybe Buzz could be the rookie.
Yes, kind of. So I wanted it to be like he's literally just like he's 5, like he's little, like he's one of the little kids.
This many.
He's this many. He this many, but he loves his dad. You know, Zap Lightyear is the hero of the Enterprise. Loves it. Loves him so much. He's amazing, but his dad is the mission. That's how he always is. And now that he's crash landed, everyone's looking on the Lightyear name, kind of like Lightyear, you failed us. And like kids are making fun of Buzz. We see him at school at the little cadet thing. They're all trying to learn to master. And then finally, you know, a year later, we take that first leap and his dad disappears. And they're like, oh my gosh. And probably I would want to watch it from his dad's point of view. Like I would want to follow the dad until after the first jump. So we're following Zap Lightyear.
I think it could be cool if Zap did the jump, came back and failed, and Buzz was older, and he was like, "Dad, you're back."
Yeah, like he
and
would
then
be the
Zap
one to
feels
jump
like
some-
he's failed, and so then he flies off. And maybe he discovers the crystal with socks, his own version of socks. Discovers real crystal, takes it, and because he feels like such a failure, he just takes it and runs. I like how that goes. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I hated socks. I don't hate socks, but I would have scrapped them. I agree. Because I feel like if we're trying to take it from my point of view with Buzz as a kid growing up, he starts becoming obsessed. Because we're gonna watch his dad slowly age. So I'm probably thinking we're gonna do like 3 more jumps after this, and then his dad straight up disappears. So 4 years, then all of a sudden he goes again. He's like, "Dad, I don't want you to do this," and he does 5 years again, and we're like seeing him, and then all of a sudden his dad disappears. So I lied. I would want to follow Zap until his dad disappears, and then the movie shifts to Buzz. So hopefully we've gotten at least a half an hour. That could be a really cool visual transition too.
Because again, I want them to look the same. I want them to have the same little circle chin. Like he's the spit. Like there's a few things different. Maybe he's got a little harder face, a little more square, not as round as Buzz. You know, because Zurg is sharper, he's rounder. And then, so, when he disappears, all of a sudden the camera will come down and it's looking at Buzz, and he just says, something doesn't feel right about this one. And then gone. His dad does not come back. Like, they're just like waiting and waiting. And all of a sudden,
something with a solar flare too that maybe
or
makes everybody think, hey, that's a failure.
Well, the reason why they have a strange feeling is because literally, like, minutes after that ship comes down. Well, I have two ways to do it. And I think now that we've been talking, I think I'm going to go with, because I want to just be like, Dad goes off, and then like minutes later, Zurg ship in the sky, and just starts raining down, and Buzz is like, I gotta get away. Yeah, I'm gonna go with what I originally planned. Zurg ship comes, starts raining, and Buzz, who has been like prepping this forever, gets into another ship, because they have other crystals, they have all this stuff they've been testing it, and Buzz is like, I gotta get out of here, and he just shoots off, because he's like, the mission comes first, and he has like and he shoots off, boom, and he's like, put in his code, because I was planning that Buzz is the one that cracks it. And while he was waiting for his dad,
that would make more sense.
Yeah,
anyway.
And Buzz is the one that cracks it.
Why isn't Buzz the hero in that sense too?
Yeah,
right?
And
he should be.
I wanted his dad to just completely ignore him. He's like, I got it. I figured it out. You figured it out? No, son. You're supposed to be a space ranger. Like, blah blah blah. Like, or it's just some pride thing. Like, he wants to be the one who discovers it. Because again, everyone's looking down on the Lightyear name.
And that could be why, right? Obviously, in Lightyear, we see that Zurg doesn't like the new Buzz, and so he tries to kind of shush him.
Yeah.
Right? That could be why. Right? Zurg, Buzz's dad, wants to take credit for the crystal.
Yes.
And is then trying to shush himself.
So
I don't know.
kind of, so how I was planning it. Oh, and also I forgot to mention that Zurg ship comes down. Zurg comes, boom. And I'll be honest, I kind of like the design, but the thing is, he straight up looks like he has like a weird dress because he's on wheels. That's how the toy works. But we got to keep it that way to some degree. But I don't know how that would transition, because it looks like he has. So I was thinking when he comes down, it's a big cowl, and then it goes away because he has a cape and then like things around his legs. I was thinking those separate and then it shows he has legs. Like, the dude is not super big, not as big as the one in Pixar, like, the Lightyear movie, because oh my gosh, it was so big. I was like, that's a little much,
Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe 7-8 feet, 7.
Still big enough that you
Yeah.
could fit inside of it. More like
It's
bigger
I'm
Iron
thinking,
Man
yes,
suit.
I was thinking more of a slimmer Iron Man suit. So anyway, but I wanted Zurg to like appear, like crash land, like Zurg ships appeared, crash lands, and oh my gosh, Zurg, they are shooting off, and we are hearing destruction. We're seeing the stuff explode. Buzz is like, I gotta get out of here. Takes his crystal that he did, bam, 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 and he shoots off. So shoots off, and he runs the test on accident. All of a sudden, it's like testing now, and he's like, crap, and he's been doing all the flight school. We're going to show cut scenes when he's growing up of him doing that and passing, but everyone doesn't like him because he's a Lightyear. And also he feels abandoned because his dad keeps disappearing. Like, he seriously only sees his dad for about 5 days throughout the movie.
If that.
Like, he sees his, like, it's become so distant that, like, he's like, Dad, we need, anyway. So, distant, bam, shoots off, comes back. Zurg has taken over. 15 years gone. The commander that loved his dad gone. So, like, it hasn't been as drastic as Lightyear was, but it's still, like, it's been, since the initial crash land, it's been about 30, 40 years. So Zurg has dominated this planet. He is sending stuff out. So Zurg is a giant threat. And it's like, oh my gosh. So now younger Buzz has to work And now we can get kind of the same storyline of some of the rookie type of thing. But really, again, the whole rookie thing doesn't really fit in this movie.
No, it really doesn't. And the thing about Toy Story, right? It's about Buzz.
It's about Buzz.
Right? The ship in the end of this movie,
yeah,
right, is the same ship that is the box that Andy gets Buzz in.
Yeah, exactly.
Buzz is the only one in that ship. Not the rookies, it's Buzz. It's just Buzz.
Yes.
The rookies was a fun idea to play with. But I think it should have just been Buzz.
Yeah. So this one is going to be about Buzz, and we'll meet descendants of like some of his friends, and they'll probably work with him. But this is about Buzz Lightyear. So again, he crash lands, and he's going to be, and he. Sorry, folks, I didn't think about too much about Crazy Dad. I don't want to make a whole movie for us, but I just want to switch something. So he has the crystal. He has the proper one. He's going to be all right. But really, I'm going to be honest, the crystal in my plan doesn't really go about, because we're talking about how Buzz Lightyear becomes a space ranger and how Emperor Zurg became Emperor Zurg. So, sorry about that. I almost died. Choking on air.
Happens.
So Buzz crash lands. Zurg's taken over. People are, it is like insane. People are just kind of get little hints of like it's not good. Emperor Zurg has messed things up. And with a few things going around, Buzz will probably do a few things. Again, I didn't think about too much of a plot. These are just some of my own little things.
Right.
At some point, Buzz is like, I need to destroy that Zurg ship. I need to get everyone out of here. He'll probably meet with like the rebels and be like, we need to like get Zurg out of here because he's been tormenting us for 15 years. And I know everyone probably in the podcast is like, you've taken away everything about this movie. Exactly. Mm-hmm. We're doing our own pitches. So don't come at us, but please listen to us.
Yeah.
Anyway,
this is our ideas. What we would do to maybe make this movie better.
Yeah. So again, this is the movie I would want. This is the movie I would have wanted to see. Mm-hmm. So throughout struggle, meeting rebels, they have a plan. Take out the main Zurg building. Whatever. Cool. Evil Emperor Zurg has been tormenting this. They're trying to get in contact with other humans, but nothing's happening. He's tormenting other ships out there because there's probably other turnips. Again, I didn't think all the way about it. I'm just getting the key points.
That would make sense, though.
Because they're like,
then he would be the Space Ranger. He would be Sheriff Woody in a spaceship.
Because they're Moana. Right? They're like going out and doing their own thing. Because again, what bugs me is like the whole mission for Buzz was like, the thing is, and that's another thing, and this might even ruin my own pitch about it, is like, what was their original mission? Like,
get off the planet.
But they were like supposed to be going home. Like they weren't even supposed to visit that planet. They were supposed to go somewhere.
Where is home?
Is it Earth? Because if they're traveling, because apparently they're already traveling at light. So by the time they get home, like for me, it was like, I was thinking just interdimensional, like they're just traveling on the turnip and they're colonizing. This planet is not hospitable. They need to leave. Zap Lightyear crashed the ship. They want to get off. The world famous Zap Lightyear, who has, been helping us and scour it. He's a hero to them. There's statues of him. He's failed. And he disappeared. He abandoned them. And he abandoned their son. And now his son gets all the blame. And so, see, that is what I'm always like. So Buzz Lightyear to the humans in this world, he isn't famous yet. Mm-hmm. So why does he become famous? He already has this awful thing about having everyone on his shoulder, about his dad leaving him. So how does that Buzz become the one that we all love? What makes him become the Space Ranger? What makes him as good as his dad was? Because his dad was Zap Lightyear, the famous Space Ranger. Because at the end of this movie, I was like, the Pixar one, I was like, this did not explain to me why, and this would not have been, I honestly don't think this would have been a toy that Andy would have wanted, because he was kind of lame. Like, there were some cute moments in the movie, but it just wasn't, this wasn't like Tim Allen's like, hello, like.
No, this would have been, honestly, if I were Andy, and I had watched this movie,
I would have wanted socks.
I would have wanted socks.
Yeah. Beep, 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 beep. That's all I would have wanted.
I would have wanted socks.
Because the thing is, nothing in the show, nothing in the movie, they don't get the suits till the end of the movie. Nah. You're going to get that whole suit throughout my movie. Like, his dad walks out in the suit and tests the terrain. He has the jetpack. They have everything.
Yeah, I did not like the wings.
We're an ejector seat. I don't want it. Bam! See,
Why wasn't that a thing that they all just had?
You're going to really... The thing is, the more I've thought about this movie, the more I'm like, I can watch it once in a while. I watched it for this purpose, but the more I think about it, the more it bugs me. Because again, this would have been the movie that Andy would have seen later. This would not have...
This is not the 1995
version. This is not the 1995 version.
As we keep saying. I can agree. I agree. I think this could be the movie that comes after. This could be the sequel to whatever it was that Andy watched.
Yeah. Honestly, to me, there's no movie. I've always seen it as, I actually had a biopic plan. When they first announced this movie, I was like, because they said it's based off the hero that Andy loved. I thought it was going to be a full-on biopic, and we could save that for another episode or whatever, but like, it is, I had a whole ass idea. Like, I wanted to send it to Pixar, because I was like,
you should have. You should have.
And that's why we're doing this show.
It would have made a better movie.
Oh my gosh. So, but with this one, back to this one, I kind of like this one more because this is more of the action one. Mine was legit like a biopic about like a dad and his son whose name was Zurg. His dad's name was Zurg in the biopic.
Okay.
And he was like a jerk to him, but his name wasn't Lightyear. It's like, because they said it anyway. Oh, maybe we'll save that for another time. So, but this one. So in my version, Buzz sneaks in, and there's the awesome robots you got from all the Pixar movies. Those are the ones going around. Because I honestly liked how they said Zurg. Like, I love that Zurg.
That was a lot of fun.
It was cute. I was like, there was something that was cute. Like, I like that Zurg, but they didn't explain it. So again, we haven't got to a big issue for me. And we've been talking a long time, but that's okay.
That is okay.
You guys are gonna sit with us, and we will work on.
We're giving you something to listen to while you're
playing Minecraft or you're at work. So, we'll try to be better in future episodes. I promise. Just give us a chance. It's the first episode, and I get nervous. I get stage fright. So, and again, hopefully when Tim does his pitches, I will just sit reverently and listen with our arms folded. Anyway, no, I know.
You don't have to do that.
Dang it. So, anyway, my version, Buzz goes, he gets to the main ship, fights the robots, has the rebels, they're getting down packed. And, there's always been this thing of like Zurg lurking. There'll be a few clips of it, there'll be a few things, and Zurg is like, just this looming figure, and there probably will hear from the things about how he wants to destroy the Galactic Empire. The Galactic Star Command. He wants to destroy Star Command.
Alliance.
The Galactic Alliance. Thank you. Star Command, to him, he hates it. Blah blah blah. Like, there's just something about this dude that you're like, oh my gosh, what is your problem? So now, while he's going around, he's sneaking, and they find the plans, and there's like this secret little compartment. They're all so set that it's like a secret, like, room that has the way to defeat Zurg, because he's just menacing. Because as we've seen, like, he's come down, probably have a few scenes of him fighting. Like, he is just destroying the other space rangers. Like, he is just messing them up. They don't know how he's doing this. So finally, we get to the secret room. Buzz breaks in. Oh my goodness, looking like an old man he is, we have Zap Lightyear just sitting.
Emperor Palpatine style.
Yeah, not Emperor Palpatine style. He's just kind of sitting, kind of stewing. Okay. Just kind of this angry, like, think of your typical 50s, 60s, generic, honky Southern dude. Oh, probably will get in trouble. I edited it. I'll think of a different one. Think of your generic, like, 50s angry white Southern dad. Just this, like, I haven't done anything in my life, and I hate, like, he's just kind of sitting, and you don't know why he's angry. Buzz bursts the door, stands up. Like, we don't know what he's doing. Like, he's just looks like, and they're like, oh my gosh, Dad, and immediately hugs his son, my boy, like hugs him, and he's a lot older. So to him, he's probably in his, actually no, because he probably leapt.
He'd probably be like Mr. Fredrickson going back to Up. Talking about earlier, but older.
Maybe I would say maybe 7. Like he's still kind of at, like he still has like a good, like exactly how we saw him in the movie, but again, sharper jaw, but looks more tired. You know, Buzz and him reconnect. Buzz is crying. We have this wonderful scene of them reconnecting, and you know, us in the audience are going, Buzz doesn't know. Buzz doesn't know. Buzz doesn't care. Like, we got to get you out of here, Dad. What are you doing here? And he's like, Zurg has had me as a prisoner for years. I have been a prisoner to Zurg. And that's all he says. Like, I've been a prisoner to Zurg. I was like, I know, we got to get you out of here. He's like, no. And, you know, he's like, we got to get out. And he's like, okay. And he's like telling him about, and he like drops the, we're planning to destroy the main ship. And you just see, you know, Zap go, oh my gosh, that's a great idea. Like, he's just going with it, you know, typical, like, going with it. And we're like, and again, the audience, we're just going to be sitting there going, and, you know, Buzz is totally eating it up. His dad's back. He has his father. And, you know, they're going around, and they're fighting, and, you know, and they've been talking, they're trying to catch, like, what happened to you? He's like, well, I went off, and his story is he went off, and basically he's going to give what future Buzz says, a very vague story. I went off, and I found this ship, and Zurg was there, and because we did it, Buzz. I took the, oh, sorry, I messed up. Zap took his crystal. Oh, wait, no. So when he asked his dad how he did it, he said, it worked. I went out, and I found, oh, damn it. Sorry, Tim.
You're good.
I'm going to edit the crap out of this part. Okay. Because again, I'm mixing up like both movies. So when he goes back and he looks at him and says, his story is, it didn't work for me. I don't know why. I must have inputted the wrong thing, blah, blah, blah. Just make up some excuse. And he says he went off into the far distant future. And he just went off. It just sent him to the future. He's like, I thought I lost you forever. And then I ran into Zurg, and it shows the ship coming, and it captures him, and it shows like because Emperor Zurg he makes up this thing of like Emperor Zurg also wanted the ability to travel. He wanted to go back, and he wanted to destroy Star Command, blah, blah, blah. Because Star Command at his time was chasing Emperor Zurg down and all this stuff. So Emperor Zurg had to come back and destroy it. So again, because that's always been the thing, is Zurg hated Star Command. Sworn enemy of the Galactic Alliance. So he went to apparently to Zap, he went to a future. That's what we got. Zap is the Zap is that, and Zap, darn it, Zurg is the guy who hates Star Command. So, Tim, I'm struggling.
You're good. Is this going to be like a Dread Pirate Roberts kind of thing?
A Dread what?
Dread Pirate Roberts, Princess Bride.
Oh,
where Zurg is just a title passed on.
No. So here's what. Sorry, and I feel like now all your notes are kind of being put to naught. And again, it's going to be. And again, I do hope you would interject at some points about it, but I did take out all the characters. Anyway, so the point being, Zurg makes up the story and says, your formula didn't work, blah, blah, blah. He goes to Zurg, but it turns out that you, my son, are the one, you, inspired people, and you figured out the time travel, and it was great, blah, blah, blah. But Zurg wanted to stop you from that, so that's why he came back in time and started bombarding at that point in time, because that would have inspired Buzz to try to make a better solution. So Buzz totally thought he was going in with a failed crystal. He thought he was gonna like die or vanish like his dad did when he was trying to escape Zurg, because of whatever. So anyway, Buzz is like, oh my gosh, Dad, I'm so sorry. And he's like, and Zurg captured me and brought me back to see your demise. Blah 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 blah. Wow. So with that being said, we're gonna see Zurg and Buzz working together, and they're fighting a bunch of robots. And they're always saying Zurg and stuff. And we're hearing that constantly. He's like, oh, gosh, dang it, I can't stand it when they say that name. Like, and then Dad's like, I think it's kind of cute. Like he's dropping little hints here and there. So, really quick about the robots. It bugged me that we didn't know where they were. So we're going to talk about Alvin. So that's how I would have imagined the robots came from, and that's going to kind of spoiling how what kind of happened. So, but yeah, keep that in mind, Alvin, who I didn't mind that at all, and I love that they had the little cartridge joke, like, but
I don't think his name was Alvin. You're talking about the
little robot, right?
The cartridge.
Yeah. What is its name? Oh no,
What is
like freaking out.
It's not Alvin. It's
Ivan.
Ivan.
That
would make sense.
That would make more sense. Not Alvin. Sorry, I really like chipmunks. Alvin! Okay, so Ivan. Keep that in mind. Ivan, thank you for correcting that. Again, I'm going to edit it out. So let's talk about Ivan. So that's who I think the robots came from, if that kind of goes with it. So, long story short, kind of going to, get this moving on, because I feel like I'm just dragging everyone here. And again, first episode, we'll get better at this. So my idea is Zap and Buzz going through. They finally get to the heart of the ship, and they're about to get it, and he has a chance to destroy the ship, and robots are coming in, blah blah blah, and they're fighting. And Buzz is sitting there, and he's holding some of the robots off, shooting them with the wrist blasters, which I would hope that. And, Zap is doing it with him. He's got his old suit back, and he's, like, freaking out. And he's just having the time with his dad. And finally, Zap has the chance to destroy the ship. Okay? He has the chance to. And he turns his blaster on Buzz. He's like, Dad, what are you doing? Shoots. And he shoots a robot that was sneaking up on Buzz. And it goes Zurg. And Buzz sits there and goes, why? Why do they say Zurg? What? Like they always just say Zurg. And Zap just goes, well, they couldn't say my name right. And presses a thing on his suit, and all of a sudden we see the suit get bigger, turn to that purple shape, and bam, Lord Zurg stands before him. Oh my goodness, Lord Zurg. It was his dad. No. All of us in the theater.
It's not true.
It's not true. Like, seriously, like, and I know we probably could have done the whole, you'll never commit, you kill my father, but it's like, we've already seen that in the other one. And again, everyone might be like, oh my gosh, but in the second one, that's when he's supposed to figure it out. And it's like, I don't care. This is supposed to be about Lightyear. This is supposed to be the movie Andy saw later. And at least I'm trying to keep more to the story instead of it being older Buzz. I'm sorry.
And keeping it to what we see, one, what we see in Toy Story, and two, what they would have done in 1995.
Yeah.
Right? Like, okay, I have to preface this. I get that this is the Pixar universe, and it's not our universe, because obviously we don't have magic and dragons and mermaids and garbage like that.
Yeah.
But the Pixar universe is supposed to be as close to ours in theology.
When you say the Pixar universe, do you believe that all the Pixar movies are connected? I've seen those.
Did you see the bugs? Those are freaking cybugs from Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, that's Disney. That's not.
It's the same.
Like, I know what you mean, though, because I was like, those bugs look exactly... And again, but scrapping, those bugs could be in that, but my main thing would have been Zurg. So, oh my gosh.
But yeah.
Lord Zurg is Buzz. Lord Zurg is Zap. They couldn't say the name right. He became Zurg because he wanted to make a name for himself. Now, how did he get that name? So he's like, what? And he's like, what really happened to you, Dad? And he's gonna look at him and go, you were right, son. Your crystal worked, or however they traveled. You did it. And I came back, and oh my gosh, you were gone too. You weren't there. And they hated us. They hated us, son. So, they hated our name. The Lightyear name had been tarnished. We followed the mission, son. And he's going to keep saying we. He's like, we followed the mission. We did everything as Space Rangers. And they hated us. You know, he's going to come back and his statue has been, all these statues of Zap have been destroyed. You know, they're disgracing him and his son, these graves. Like, he's just so shocked. Like, you know, he's just angry. And he goes, I got back in that ship and I flew. And I flew and I flew until I couldn't anymore. And all I had was me and Ivan. And, you know, I didn't really think pure-heartedly of how that maybe he could have gotten on some weird alien ship. But I was thinking he was going to land in a world where...
Maybe technology is higher.
Yeah, the technology is higher. They could be from Star Command. And again, all he sees in this future is Star Command. And their names are not even known anymore. And so Zap goes in. And it doesn't matter if it's been... And I was thinking it's going to be like a couple hundred years. And he goes and he sees one of the ships. And he takes it over. And they have all these like different things to go. And anyway, point of it being... Zurg takes over an old Star Command ship, so that's why it looks so futuristic-y. And with Ivan, gosh dang it, with Ivan, he makes the robots. Right. And when he's sitting there trying to work it, he says, and you know, he's making it, and he's like, and I can never make the darn things talk anymore after copying it for so long. And all it said was trying to say my name. And then he shows him kind of whittling with the robot, and he goes, Zurg. And I stuck with it, and I liked that name. And I told myself I would make a name for myself. And I decided Zurg. They will forget Lightyear, but they will not forget Zurg. And it shows him taking over. And I was planning on him being like, but why stop at, you know, taking over the future when I couldn't just stop it from the beginning? Clear our name and make you the hero. And keep our name fresh. It was either that or he just straight up says, I'm going to destroy Star Command from the very beginning. Because he comes back and it was so shocking that Star Command is so big, but the light years weren't a part of it. I don't know. I feel like I've just been a lot. So what are your thoughts on that?
I like it. I think that would have been just with how... we see Buzz and Zurg and all of that in Toy Story. And again, I'm basing all of this on Toy Story as Andy's toys and that version of Buzz that we see. With how we see Buzz, with how we grew up knowing Buzz. I think that fits better. And here's the thing about knowing somebody, right? In Spanish, there's two words for to know. There's saber, which is to know facts, right? And we can know facts. We can know that the sky is blue. We can know that the earth beneath us is ancient, far more ancient than any of us could even imagine.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's the verb conocer, to know a person, to know on a more personal level, right? And that's how we know Buzz. You and I grew up knowing Buzz, knowing who he is, and wanting to be heroes like him, right? That's the whole point of you having that freaking blanket.
Yes.
Right? And I think what Pixar has done is they've used the other verb.
Yeah.
They know of Buzz. They know of his story, and they want to make money on the modernization of that story.
Mm-hmm.
And it all goes back to the fact that this movie right here is not the 1995 version.
No, it's
right?
the 2020.
This is the 2022, 2021, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? There's other issues I have with the movie, but that's the big thing. Right? Like, I don't know. And
I think you've said it very well. I like how you were like, we know the character, but they just knew him.
Uh-huh.
I really like that.
We know the character. They knew of him.
And it's funny because they're the ones. Some of them probably helped create it, which shocks me that they
would have done that.
It just. So.
And yeah.
Again, to summarize everything, I think this movie, the key things I think should have been changed. Take out that first sentence. Make this movie that Andy takes his son to. Zurg is his father. Buzz is trying to make up his name. He's trying to solve the mission. The whole point of this is that, he has become the Buzz that we know. He's very analytical. Like, that's the ending. That's what Buzz turned into because of his dad. And that's okay.
And that's why in the first Toy Story movie, when he comes out of the box, he's so analytical and he's so Buzz.
And the thing is, that's what would be happening. I want everyone to realize that the Buzz that we see in the first movie, that way he talks would be how it is, because he's trying to always impress his dad, because that's how his dad talks. Mm-hmm. So all these things, with these changes, would have ended up being a better act. It would have been an action movie that a little boy would have loved to see. And even and so this movie could have possibly worked in the 90s, but also I just wanted it to be something Andy take his son to. And so, the movie would end generically with Buzz defeating Zurg, blowing up. He's going to say, "Not today, Zurg." But no one except Buzz would know that Zurg was his father. He just refers to an evil Emperor Zurg because truly Zap died. And it would be like a big explosion, blah, blah, blah.
It's the whole Anakin Skywalker is dead, Darth Vader is what remains.
Yes.
The universe knows.
Because that's what that was based on.
The galaxy knows Darth Vader. The galaxy has forgotten Anakin Skywalker.
And that is a big thing.
Because Anakin Skywalker died.
Yes. And Zap Lightyear
quote unquote
did too.
died.
Yeah,
because he's still there and Luke does end up pulling him out. I don't think they could make a play on that with this whole Zurg thing. I thought it was fun that they had 3 after credit scenes.
Oh, that's right.
The third one.
What's the third one?
Zurg's return.
Oh.
Right? Zurg, the lights.
Oh.
His eyes light back up.
Yeah.
Very cliche.
Yeah.
Extremely cliche. I loved it.
But again, that doesn't fit. But that doesn't fit for the 90s. That's the thing is, and that's what that fits in 2022. And so they tried so hard to be a 90s movie, and you could have made this a 90s movie. It would have been hilarious, but why?
Yeah. I loved the Zurg's return thing.
Yeah.
Because it left it open.
And that's what I would have done with this movie.
But
why did I think that wasn't the third? Sorry.
I think they could have done something different. I don't think he should have been floating in space when it happens. I think he should have crashed into a different planet.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Something like that. That would have been better.
So
a little bit longer of a cutscene. Get rid of the other 2. The other 2 were garbage. Yeah. I don't even remember the one. The one was the one robot, and he was like, "Any questions?"
Oh, that's right.
I don't remember the other.
I don't even remember that either. And I watched it rather recently. I would just want you to be able to leave this movie going, wow, that was a good, fun way to how Buzz Lightyear became, this hero of Star Command. Because he becomes a hero, and he needs to keep that secret that, because everyone's like, your name, like the Lightyear name is going to be great again. Like, you did it. It's great. Like, oh my gosh, Buzz Lightyear, we know about you and your dad. You came back, blah, 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 blah. And then like, well, what about your dad? What happened to him? And, just, again, they're the only few things I want to talk about. And again, we'll work on this in the podcast of how we're going to do this. So I'm glad you all have stuck with us for over 2 hours. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
No.
if you really have stuck with us for this long, thank you so much. I know our voices can maybe get annoying after a while. I don't know about yours. Your voice is awesome. I know mine can get annoying after a while.
No, mine definitely can. But
thank you.
so we'll get better at this, but long story short, I just wish they would have kept the dynamic of Zurg being his dad. This movie should not have been the movie that Andy saw when he was a kid, but should have taken his son to. And this movie should have made us go, I want to go watch the first episode of, I want to go watch the first Toy Story movie again. Because even if you tweak it a little bit, no, I would just want you to want to watch the first Toy Story movie.
I agree.
Just for the fact that it's like, because the way he talks, the way he did. And the thing is, you could have still had Chris Evans be the voice. But if you're really
I think
doing
Chris Evans did a really good job.
I did too, but they made him all mopey and like because the Buzz Lightyear from the first movie, the first Toy Story movie is straight up like, you need to be in hypersleep and you're like, you need to follow orders. Like, this is how it is. Like, I want everyone to imagine that's the Buzz that we are kind of seeing. And even if he softens up a little bit at the end of the movie, he still is like, I'm Buzz Lightyear. I'm always sure. So.
Yeah.
Ugh. But, ugh. I feel like we're going to get better. I promise we'll get better. And hopefully with some good editing, this will end up being a great episode. But, I don't know, Tim, any final words for it?
I don't think so. I don't know. I think this was a fun conversation.
This turned into a crazy conversation, and hopefully with some tweaking, this will really, hopefully this leads to a better future. So,
and again, sorry if we stepped on some toes. That wasn't the goal. The goal was to explain what we felt about the movie and to give some insight into why.
Yep.
If we hurt some feelings, we apologize. We didn't mean it that way. And hopefully maybe we've been able to open up your eyes to see something.
Yeah. So hopefully in the future I think we're going to keep it. Anyway, we're going to start and do some plans. But again, thank you everyone. And we hope to see you on the next episode. So, see you later.